Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, of course, depending for where you're hearing my voice from. Once again, it's all thanks to a brand new month. It's all thanks to God that we're alive this morning. It's all thanks to God that we can communicate with ourselves. How you doing, fellow Biafrans, freedom lovers, men and women of goodwill and good faith? Hope you're all looking forward, as I am, to the end of this month and the end of this year, this new month of November. Well, for this moment and for this audio, I'm going to talk about our maximum leaders, trial in the hands of Justice James Kolawole Motosho of the Abuja Federal High Court, Abuja. We want to look at his continuous trial and some of the matters that have risen out of it. Ladies and gentlemen, the audio this morning is the fact that Nnamdi Kanu's international lawyer, Bruce Fane, you know, has warned Justice James Kolawole Motosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja to be very, very careful of branding continuously and continually trying Nnamdi Kanu as a terrorist. He said if Mr. James Motosho continues in this way and in this manner, pursuing this agenda, there will be negative consequences, both for him and the Nigerian judiciary. Yes, Mr. Bruce Fane, international lawyer representing Nnamdi Kanu, has told Justice James Kolawole Motosho, you better beware. Calling Nnamdi Kanu a terrorist, try him as a terrorist, can jeopardize your reputation internationally and put Nigeria's judiciary under a very negative light worldwide. That is the title. That's the audio for this morning. So, ladies and gentlemen, a fresh twist has emerged in the trial of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOD leader Nnamdi Kanu, as his international lawyer and counsel, Bruce Fane has written to Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja, demanding an immediate dismissal of all terrorism-related charges against his client. In a strongly worded letter dated October 28, 2025, titled Dismissal of Prosecution of Nnamdi Kanu for Lack of Jurisdiction, unquote, Fane accused the Nigerian government of violating both domestic and international laws through Kanu's continued detention and prosecution. Fane warned Justice Omotosho that by proceeding with the case, he could be, quote, legally implicated, unquote, in the alleged crimes committed by the Nigerian government, including kidnapping, torture, and extraordinary rendition. Yes, Mr. Bruce Fane was very clear when he warned Mr. James Motosho. Yes, he told Mr. Bruce Fane, the international attorney of Nnamdi Kanu, wrote a letter to Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja. In the letter, of course, Mr. Fane demanded the dismissal of all charges against Kanu, citing lack of jurisdiction due to his alleged abduction and extraordinary rendition from Kenya. Fane argued that the Nigerian government should not benefit from its own alleged criminality in bringing Kanu to trial and warned that continuing the case could implicate the court in international law violations and make Justice Omotosho vulnerable to prosecution before the International Criminal Court. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bruce Fane has said it loud and clear. He said, look, Nigeria cannot benefit from its own criminality. You orchestrated people who went to Kenya and they kidnapped and abducted Nnamdi Kanu. You drugged him, kidnapped him, brought him to Nigeria in chains and shackles. Then you dumped him in a DSS dungeon after parading him to the whole world as a criminal, as a terrorist, and as an organ harvester. These are gross violations of his fundamental human rights. These are violations. Picking him, kidnapping him from Kenya is a violation of international law and diplomacy. And of course, the Kenyan authorities already, have been charged, you know, and been convicted by a court, and they've been charged and made to pay general damages to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in full uh, conviction and in full acceptance of the fact that what they did, aiding and abetting Nigeria to kidnap Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, was grave, was totally unacceptable, both internationally and locally. And so he wrote to just Mr. Bruce Fane, wrote to Justice James Kolawole Omotosho and told him, are you aware, sir, with all due respect, that the man you are trying was kidnapped, abducted, and forcefully forcefully taken from Kenya down to Nigeria. Are you aware that that is a criminality? Are you aware that the Kenyan court, the Kenyan High Court, has found uh, the Kenyan government guilty of conniving and engaging in kidnapping, as far as Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is concerned, and they have awarded damages to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to the tune of several millions of shillings, Kenyan shillings. Are you aware, Justice James Omotosho, that if you continue this case the way it is, if you continue to try Mazen Nnamdi Kanu for terrorism, and secessionist agenda, you risk, of course, flouting international judicial conventions. You risk, of course, to be uh, taken to the International Criminal Court. You risk, of course, all your good names and experience in the bar. And as a judge, you risk everything because of this very erroneous, wicked, and completely unnecessary trial. Mr. Bruce Fane was very clear. He told Justice James Omotosho, Justice James Omotosho, I've looked into your records. I've seen that you are, a judge and a responsible gentleman who is interested in doing what is right. But sincerely, do not be used by a corrupt system. Do not allow yourself to be used by a corrupt government. Do not allow yourself, to be manipulated by people who have shown gross hatred, pathological hatred for Mazen Nnamdi because, of course, he dared to say the truth. Because, of course, he dared to look at the Nigerian government in the face and told them about the plight of his people who were being marginalized, who were being subjugated, who were being treated like a second-class citizens in Nigeria. Mr. Bruce Finn, an internationally acclaimed and recognized lawyer, said, listen, I'm ready to take this matter to the International Criminal Court. I'm ready to take it out of the shores of Nigeria. And I tell you what, it will ruin, it will ridicule, and it will expose you to odium and opprobrium all over the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bruce Finn, an internationally appointed lawyer who Mazen Nnamdi Kanu recruited, in his matter against the Nigerian government. Remember very vividly, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu has been in the DSS dungeon now, back to back for close to 5 years. This is a man who several courts of the land, several high courts have acquitted. I mean, several high courts have said this man has no case against him. This man is not a terrorist. This man has no charges, that can be held up in the court of law. We order his discharge and acquittal immediately and unconditionally. But of course, the Nigerian government under PMB, the late President Mohamed Buhari, went to the Supreme Court, appealed to the Supreme Court, and ever since then, they have found all manners and ways to continue to delay him in a case of trial and mistrial. They have kept him in the DSS dungeon. His health has collapsed. He has appealed that he be moved to a better hospital for proper medical care. But of course, the Nigerian government have remained adamant, insisting that they wanted him dead or alive, no matter what his condition was. Mr. Bruce Finn, an international lawyer and attorney, has rightly and here ominously warned Justice James Kolawole Omotosho to beware, because this trial man, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, could be your Waterloo. It could burn your hands. You get your hands burnt. You better be careful. You better be careful. This man was criminally abducted and kidnapped from Kenya. This idea of calling it rendition it doesn't matter what you call it. Basically, he was kidnapped, he was abducted and brought into Nigeria under very, very totally unacceptable conditions, against his will, against the laws of Kenya, against international recognized laws, you know, diplomatic laws, personal laws, you brought him down to Nigeria. And if you continue this trial, it means Nigeria is trying to benefit from his criminality. Is rubbing it right into the face of the whole world that they can do and undo. Nigeria government cannot continue to claim to be a country where human rights abuses are frowned upon, when in fact it is still trying a man that was criminally abducted and kidnapped from Kenya. Mr. Bruce Fenn has told Justice James Kolawole Omotosho to do the right thing now that you have the chance. You still have the chance, Mr. James Omotosho. You still have the opportunity to do the right thing. Stop dancing to the Jagaban. Stop dancing to the gallery. Stop all this idea of trying to please the cabal that put you there. You know, as a student of jurisprudence, you know, of course, uh, as a man who is versed in international law, you know you cannot benefit. Nobody does any wrong and tries to benefit for that wrong. You can't right a wrong. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's abduction, kidnapping to Nigeria was criminal against international criminal court. The way manner he was kidnapped and abducted from Kenya and brought down to Nigeria was criminal. Therefore, continually and continue to try him based on such a very criminal foundation is totally unacceptable and wrong. He has warned James Kolawole Omotosho that there will be dire consequences, both to him personally and to the Nigerian government and to the Nigerian judiciary, because injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. Mr. Bruce Fenn has come up openly and told the Nigerian government, you better be careful. The whole world is watching you. Mazen Nandekano is not a fly, is not a riffraff, is not somebody without a surname. This is a man who shares both English and Nigerian citizenship. He's a Briton, of course, a British citizen and a Nigerian citizen. And therefore, when you continue to parade him like a common criminal, like a mere terrorist, like organ harvester, when you continue to subject him to trials and mistrials, and you continue to keep him, force him to stay in an inhuman environment like the DSS dungeon, you are contravening international criminal court, guidelines and, and practices. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't know, and we're hoping Justice James Kolawole Omotosho will take this warnings, stern warnings from Mr. Bruce Fenn, yeah, seriously. Because of course, if he doesn't, it could lead, it will have detrimental effect on Nigerian judiciary, on Nigerian government, and even the personal records of Justice Kolawole James Omotosho. Ladies and gentlemen, we've always said it here that this continuous trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a misnomer. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been, severally discharged and acquitted. But the Nigerian government have continued to be adamant all the time, and of course, deliberately changing the goalposts while the ball has already started. They have continued to deceive people. They have continued to, marginalize, and they have continued to malign, and they've continued to persecute Mazen Nandekano because he dared to speak truth to power. He dared to look President Mohamed Buhari right in the face and tell him, change your marginalizing attitude to Biafrans, or of course, let Biafrans go their own way. Mr. Brustein, I've said it all. You have said it all, and enough is enough. We are going to watch this week. We want to see the reaction of Justice James Kolawole Omotosho of the Federal High Court Abuja. We want to see if he's going to ignore this international lawyer of high repute and continue with this, fake and, you know, well, fake and criminal persecution of Nnamdi Kanu, who was criminally and totally brought into Nigeria under criminal circumstances. He was kidnapped, abducted, chained, shackled, and forced into a plane and brought to Nigeria. Shamed when he was publicly, displayed on the mass media and the televisions, the print media, in chains and in shackles, and called a terrorist. That is a fundamental abuse, very, you know, massive abuse of his fundamental human rights. And of course, trying him, resisting on this trial could cost Nigeria a lot of dire consequences. Of course, it shows that our Nigerian judiciary has been compromised. It shows that Nigerian judiciary, are not, keeping up with the dictate and guidelines of international criminal justice system. No country's judicial system works in isolation. No country's legal system works in isolation. The whole world is one global village. So Mr. Bruce Fenn has written this letter and he has told Justice James Kolawole Omotosho, this could be your best chance indeed to do the right thing. Do not scuttle this opportunity. Tell your Nigerian government, tell your judiciary, tell them that what they are doing to Mazen Nnamdi will boomerang on them, because of course they are doing the wrong thing and they are propagating, wicked, criminal, and totally abhorrent justice system that is not compliant with international criminal justice codes and requirements. Ladies and gentlemen, Mazen Nnamdi has said it, that he has no case to answer to Nigerian government. Mazen Nnamdi has come and said, look, I don't need a lawyer to present me as far as Nigeria is concerned, because of course, I know I have no case to answer. I'm not a terrorist. Several courts of the land have discharged and acquitted me. I don't know why they continue to try me. And then here we have his international lawyer, Bruce Fein, coming out openly once again to, excuse me, to tell Justice James Kolawole Omotosho that you will be vulnerable to prosecution before the International Criminal Court for engaging in criminality. And when you continue to try Mazen Nnamdi, you are equally at that moment, you know, that you are making the Nigerian government, you know, to benefit from its own alleged criminality in bringing Kanu to trial, and then look, the international community is watching you, the International Criminal Court is watching you, the international judiciary is watching you, because of course we know you cannot use wrong to get right. Mazen Nnamdi was kidnapped and abducted into Nigeria from Kenya against his wishes, against his personal opinion, against international standards, against Kenyan laws, against all known international law and regulations. So Nigerian government is not only criminal in this case, but holding Nnamdi Kanu and still trying him is a case of bullying him, both with the criminality and the irregularities involved. Ladies and gentlemen, take it or leave it, Mr. Bruce Fein has argued that the Nigerian government should not benefit from its own alleged criminality in bringing Kanu to trial. He has warned that continuing the case could implicate the court in international law violations and make Justice James Kolawole Omotosho vulnerable to prosecution before the International Criminal Court. Ladies and gentlemen, matters concerning Biafra and Biafran people cannot be wished under the carpet. They cannot be swept under the carpet. The Nigerian government must realize that they have beaten more than they can chew. Every time they criminalize Mazen Nnamdi arrest, every time they try to criminalize his protest, every time they continue to subject him to this trial and mistrial, they are biting more than they can chew, internationally and locally. And I assure Nigerians that the whole world is watching. We have said it continually here that the 47th president of the United States, 45th and 47th president of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump, is watching. We have said it here that the European communities are watching. We have said that people outside the world, the Canadas, the Americas, Japan and Asia are watching. We have said freedom lovers all over the world are watching. And Nigeria government continues to swim. They don't know we are seeing their back. You are diving in water, but we are seeing your back. This criminality cannot be hidden. Trial and mistrial of Mazen Nnamdi is a complete misnomer. Yes, it is a complete anomaly of the Nigerian system. The earlier Mazen Nnamdi is fully discharged and acquitted, the better the chances of Nigeria to stop displaying such a wicked and criminal judicial behavior towards a simple, innocent, fearless, peaceful protester, Mazen Nnamdi. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how it's going to be. Just know that Bruce Fein is the international attorney of Nnamdi Kanu, and of course, he has wrote a letter to Justice James Kolawole Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja. Remember that in the letter dated October 28, 2025, Fein demanded the dismissal of all charges against Kanu, citing lack of jurisdiction due to his alleged abduction and extraordinary rendition from Kenya. Fein argued that the Nigerian government should not benefit from its own alleged criminality in bringing Kanu to trial, and warned that continuing the case could implicate the court in international law violations and make Justice James Kolawole Omotosho vulnerable to prosecution before the International Criminal Court. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to peg it here. Until I come your way again, think Biafra, drink Biafra, and wish Biafra well. Support the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Pray for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's health. And of course, equally pray that this appeal for the conviction of Simon Ekpa in Finland will come our way. We want Simon Ekpa equally discharged and acquitted because, of course, he has done no wrong. He's just a peaceful protester like his mentor, Nnamdi Kanu. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. I'll come your way again. God bless you, and God bless the Federal Unified, redeclared sovereign state of Biafra. God bless you all. Bye, and thank you.